Okay, so hello guys, this is Nick from nickmavromatisproductions, and sorry about my voice, I'm a bit cold. And in today's video I'm gonna show you for the first time how I go about mixing metal vocals in the style of Periphery, Issues, Slaves, Northlane, and stuff like that. Let's take a listen to the two parts that I'm gonna be mixing for you today. First part is the chorus and the post-chorus of the song. Let's take a listen to the vocals.
Cause it might be late when you come back. I cannot trust no one but you, honestly. I wanna trust myself more than you, cause when the first jump should be away, I've got my feet and break it. Cause you're the only thing that makes a difference in my boring life.
Okay, so these are all the vocal tracks that I have for this part. They're modern vocals, mid-ranged to high-ranged, with pop or R&B melodies, if you will, and they're aggressive. They have some runs. This part doesn't have runs, but the next part that I'm gonna show you right now has. And let's go to this part right now. It's this one right here. Hold me, 'cause I'll make you falling constantly. Don't go too far, 'cause it might be late when you come back. So, I don't know, some haters might say that these are not metal vocals, but in modern metal, like I said, Periphery style, Issues style, Slave style, there are many parts that have runs like this, octave vocals, and sometimes some people would say that they're not metal vocals, but because modern metal has these vocals, I decided to show you how I mix those. If you don't like them, please do not hate, just skip the part with these vocals. Okay, so let's go back to the first part, and I will start showing you what I did on those vocals. By the way, I'm singing those vocals, I recorded those vocals. So these vocals are from a track of my band. My band is called So Was the Imminent, and this track is called Immersed. If you want to hear the full track, you can go to our YouTube channel. I've got a link in the description of the video. You can go check out the whole song. It's really cool. So if you like it, please subscribe, and you know the rest of it. Okay, so let's see those vocals here. So what am I having here? So on the chorus I am having two tracks. They're the same, they have the same melody, the same line, and they're layering the other. So I've got two tracks, those two here, of the main melody. Then I have another two tracks with backing vocals that are the same, they're layered. Those two tracks have the same lines, again, they are layered. Then I have another two vocals with other melodies layered, and then I have another two tracks with another melody layered. These two tracks have only those two parts here, which are some, as you're gonna hear what I'm saying in a bit. So on all the vocal tracks I'm using about the same settings, the same plugins, with the difference that on the main vocals I'm using +1 compressor, which I'm gonna show you and let's start seeing exactly what I have on the tracks. So the plugins that I'm having on this track, let's solo this track only, let's put it center. And so first thing in my chain, I have a tube preamp by Steven Slade, which is called New York. I have it on push mode, which means that it's saturating even more. And yeah, this is pretty much it. Just a little bit of tube saturation on the vocals. And then this revival plugin is giving some really nice and really silk, I would say, highs. And this plugin called Air, I'm just giving 1.5 dB, yes, and that makes a difference because it gives some air, as it says, to the vocal, and 1 dB is enough to make a difference, trust me, with this plugin. Let's take a listen. I'll bypass all the plugins and I will start showing you what each one does. Let's jump to Revival, which makes a big difference. So this is without the revival, and this is with the revival. Without and with. 'Cause it might be late when you come back. So the difference that this plugin makes is really subtle, but if you're in a good monitoring system and you're watching this video in HD, you're gonna hear that it gives an awesome top end on the vocals. And same with this plugin, only so this one boosts frequencies that are even higher than the frequencies that Revival boosts. So let's take a listen to this one as well, with and without. So now it's with. And without. So without. And with. Again, the difference is really subtle. I hope you're hearing this, but if you have recorded your vocals through a good microphone and through good preamps and stuff, you don't want to make big changes to the vocals. So this is what I've done with the top end. So next thing on the chain is a passive equalizer, and the microphone that I was recording with had a bit scooped mids at around 800 hertz. So what I did was, with a really wide Q, here is the Q, here you control the Q, so here is narrow and here is wide. So I boosted those frequencies by 10.6, but be careful, this is not dB, this is just the metering for this plugin. It is a lot less than 10 dB, and let's take a listen to the difference of with and without. So now it's with. Cause it might be late when you come back. And I'm also doing a low cut here on 68 Hertz, and this is it with that equalizer. You can also comment down below if you want me to show you the whole procedure of the vocal production. What I mean by that is that just now I showed you how to mix vocals, but before going into mixing vocals, there are stages like coming up with ideas, coming up with melodies, backing vocals, how to layer those vocals, how to record the vocals, and how to edit those vocals. And if you're interested and you want me to show you how I am doing this procedure of the general vocal production, you can comment down below and if the comments are enough, I will do a video on which I'm showing you step by step the whole vocal production. So next thing, and very important, I'm using this Pro MB, which is a multiband compressor, but the nice thing with that FabFilter multiband compressor is that it lets you choose exactly where you're gonna put bands. It doesn't work on the whole spectrum. You can choose specifically which part of the spectrum you want the plugin to act on. So first band is at about almost 300 Hertz, and this one is there because sometimes when I'm singing mid-ranged to lower ranged vocals, there are some frequencies, some around here 300 Hertz, that are the fundamental frequencies, the fundamental harmonics of my vocals, and they're a little bit higher on the lows and the mids, so I wanted to tame those a little bit, but instead of using an equalizer, I used a multiband compressor, because if I was using an equalizer, the same band would apply when I was going higher to my range, and that would make the high vocals sound very thin, because the high vocals need those frequencies right there, but the low vocals needed those frequencies to be tamed a little bit. And the same exact thing goes for this band right here, which is higher. It's around 10 kilohertz, and I used this one because on the high vocals, those frequencies needed to be tamed, but I needed those frequencies to be there when I was singing mid-ranged to lower ranged vocals. So this is it with those. Let's take a listen and see the spectrum with this thing on. So. So on the high vocals, on the high-pitched vocals, you see that there aren't too many things going on here. Let's take a look again. So you see that there are barely frequencies here. There's not any compression going on here, just a little bit when I'm going high, but when I'm singing mid-ranged vocals like those, so you see on the mid-ranged vocals, the main, the fundamental harmonics are right here. For the mid-ranged vocals, I needed those frequencies tamed a little bit because they sounded much fuller than the higher vocals, and you want all the vocals to sound, to have the same timbre, I would say. So this is it with this plugin, and then I'm having two FabFilter compressors after the Pro MB, and let's see what those compressors do. So this compressor has a really fast attack for vocals and a slow release, and this means that this compressor is used more as a leveler. So what I mean by that is, so you see on the waveform of the vocals that obviously some vocals and some notes are louder than others, so I needed to even out those volume differences. So this is the purpose of this compressor, and the next compressor that I'm using is used only on the main vocals, and this is the difference that I told you earlier. I'm not using this compressor on the backing vocals, and I'm gonna explain you why. So you see on the settings here that the attack is very slow. It's 80 milliseconds, and the release is really fast. Okay, so the first compressor, the fast compressor, so it evens out the volume, but it also minimizes the dynamic range of the vocals. So I want the vocals to be even, but I don't want to kill the dynamic range of the main vocals, because they will not sound in your face and in front of the mix. So what this compressor does is it again puts back the dynamic range that was lost from the first compressor. So try to notice that with this compressor the vocals are going to be more in your face and more in front of the mix than they would be without it. This is something that you want to have on the vocals that are the main vocals, so that you can place them in front of your mixes. So let's open that back, and finally I have a de-esser, of course. So I'm going a little bit aggressive with this de-esser, because they're also cleaning up a little bit of the top end that sometimes jumps up. So let's take a listen to this one as well, with and without. So the S's, the T's and the H are evened out with this plugin a lot, and you can see the settings right here. So on all the vocals I'm using the exact same settings as you saw on this track, minus on the backing vocals I'm not using the second compressor, the slow compressor that I showed you, because I want the backing vocals to be more on the back and not on the front. So a very important thing as well for the vocals is the levels between your main vocals and your backing vocals. And you see right here that my main vocals, which are this track right here, are at 0 dB, and my backing vocals are from minus 7.8 to minus 10 dB. So this is a huge difference between those vocals, and some people tend to put the backing vocals really loud on the mix, which is a very bad thing to do, because then it's very hard to sort out the main vocals from the backing vocals, causing a confusion to the listener. Or another mistake that I see people doing very often when mixing vocals is applying the same plugins on the main vocals as on the backing vocals, which makes the backing vocals sound too much on the front, even if you pull them very low in matter of leveling. So if you do this mistake, then your vocals, no matter how low you set them in volume, they tend to sound very in front of your mix, which makes you wanna put the backing vocals very low in volume, which is again a mistake, because you want the backing vocals to be audible in the mix, and you want the backing vocals to complement and sound like one with the front vocals, but not be above. And the last thing, and again very very important, that I'm doing on the vocals is that I'm sending all the vocals on a bus which has a bus compressor. So a bus compressor is a compressor that is designed to work with multiple tracks and not just one. So These are the settings that I'm having on this compressor here, and what this does is that it glues all the vocals together, the main vocals with the backing vocals, and it also makes sure that when I have too many tracks of vocals, the volume is not gonna exceed the limit that I set and make the vocals sound very loud in the mix in general. So if you're learning things from this video and you like how I mix vocals, you can comment down below, and I will do a second part of this video where I'm gonna show you how I apply reverb. As you can see on the project, I'm applying different types of reverb in each part, and different types of reverb depending on the vocals, if they're main vocals, backing vocals, and how back on the mix I want the vocals to be. And I will also show you how I mixed the other part, which is this one.
Hold me, 'cause I'll make you constantly. Don't go too far, 'cause it might be late when you come back.
And one more time, huge shout out to my band. So was the Imminent. The track that we were mixing is by my band. And if you want to support me for doing these videos, you can go in the description of the video, check out our songs, or go subscribe to our channel. It would mean a lot. And till next time, I hope you're doing fine. See you soon.